Welcome to the very first episode of Why I Knit. My name is Rachel, and I will be your host. All the show notes can be found at whyknitvidcast.blogspot.com. That's whyknitvidcast.blogspot.com. And this is the first episode, so let's get right into it. As I said, my name is Rachel, and I will be your host for this knitting slash sometimes crochet, but at this time really more knitting vidcast. So I'm going to just tell you a little bit about myself. I live in Delaware with my mom, my sister, my dog, Molly, and a parakeet named Skylar that belongs to my sister, Miriam. I've had a couple other podcasts in the past that haven't really gone according to what I was looking for, but hopefully this time I will be a little bit more current, up to date on everything so that the episodes will be regular. What my goal for Why I Knit is to have 2 episodes per month. For November, I'm going to have an episode today, and then I am going to have an episode next week, and then there's going to be a week break for December because I will be away, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. So I'm going to start out with what I have on my needles, and it's going to basically also answer the question why I named this vidcast Why I Knit. And why I knit is because honestly I started out as a crocheter. I was taught when I was 19, I think. Yeah, when I was 19, by my aunt, who lives in Massachusetts. She had originally taught me how to crochet when I was a lot younger, but I really didn't pick it up that well. But when I was 19, she taught me how to crochet again, and I enjoyed it. About a year ago, actually over a year ago, in May, I believe, of 2013, I was on YouTube one day and I decided that I wanted to learn to knit. So I found these videos. The comments said they weren't that great, but I was able to pick it up on it very quickly. So that's like really in my basic introduction into knitting, and I've been doing it off and on for the last year or so. But I really enjoy it when I do knit. I'm just like really trying to get back in the habit. And I figured doing a vidcast about it will be great experience for myself and for other people. So let's get on to what's on the needles. And I mentioned that my sister's name is Miriam, and ironically, her birthday is in December. It's actually on Christmas. But we don't celebrate Christmas because we are Jewish. But I want to do something special for her because it's a significant birthday this year. She's my younger sister, and she's my only sibling. So I've decided to make her a bag. I'm not sure if my webcam will be able to pick up. Yeah, we'll pick it up a little bit. Sorry if I stretch it a little bit. But this is a bag that I'm doing basically my own design. It's not a pattern, unfortunately. And I'm using Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in almond, and then I have I have 2 balls of it in coal as well. This was actually something that I had started to do, I think, last Thursday or something like that, last Thursday. But it really was becoming a disaster. And then on Monday, I had restarted it for what I said will be the final time, and so far, so good. So I haven't gotten a lot of progress in it, as I said, but my plan is to do cables. Actually, I'll show you the cable needle because I have it right here. Here's the cable needle. It's being done on 7s, using the Knitpicks options in the nickel plated. I forget how long the knitting cable is. I think it is, I want to say 40. Hold on, I have it here. I have 24, 32. Just going through the box that I have it in. Here it is. It is, yeah, it's on a 40-inch cable. And then there's the 2 plugs that came with it. The only thing is that the only problem I have with it is that I don't know if it's because it's how I knit or something, because I knit a lot at one time. Sometimes one of the needles, it's usually the right needle, that comes loose sometimes, but I screw it back in, so it's not like a big deal, but that is why, partially, why sometimes I had to start over this project. Thankfully, it's not becoming as a big deal, and it basically, trying to find the right words, that's the problem. It's not, as I said, it's not becoming like as a big deal, and yeah, so sorry for spacing out for a minute, but that's one thing I'm working on. The other thing I'm working on is, my mom had actually asked me this back in September, about doing something for a friend of hers who she was going to be visiting for her high school reunion. And she wanted me to make her kids a checkerboard. And I'm like, a checkerboard? Okay. So I figured out a way to do it, and I figured that one way I could do it is knit the squares. And this is, I am not a yarn snob, so this is Red Heart Super Saver in hot red. I know, it's pretty crazy, but that's what it is. And all I'm doing is I'm doing stockinette. I think this is row 20. And I know it's very bright, but it's not as bright on in person. If for those of you who've used Super Saver, and here it is. Again, it looks very bright, but it's really not. It's a little bit darker than in person. That's actually the first square. I think these are 7s, 6 or 7s needle. They're Susan Bates. I know a lot of people, I think, hate Susan Bates because of probably the cable, and that they're really not that really well made. But I actually like them, and I prefer metal needles than like wood. I have wood needles, but yeah, and I have some Boyds as well. I think Boyds are a little bit more well made though, than the Susan Bates. And I can actually show you one of the checkers because I have it in this box if I can find it. I might have accidentally pulled it out sorry. Yeah, I accidentally pulled it out, so it is right here. It's not, I'm actually further along in these than I am the checkers pieces. My goal is to have it done for her friend for hopefully as a belated Christmas present. But I'm not 100% sure if that's going to get done. So that's what's on my needles, and that's something that I'm going to be talking about in every episode most of the time. What I have planned is the next segment, and this is going to be what I'm going to be working on in the future. I don't have any pictures or stuff like that today, but sometimes I will. And I have in my notes, I have 3 things really big planned. Next Saturday, we are actually getting on a train in Delaware, and we are going to take it from Delaware to Kissimmee, Florida. And Kissimmee is right next door to Lake Buena Vista, of course, the home of Disney World. So yeah, we're going to Disney World for the after Thanksgiving, and we'll be there all the first week of December. We get back that first Sunday. I'm sorry, we leave that first Sunday in December to go home, and we get back on the 8th. So, very excited about that. This is actually our second trip of the year to Disney World. We went in April, and it had been Miriam's first time to Disney World, but it was my second, but it had been a really long time. When I had gone, I was 4 when I had gone. So this was really the first trip I had remembered, and now we're going again as an early birthday present to my sister. So I want to bring something to work on the train because we're going to be in a sleeping car, thankfully, so we're not going to be out in a coach. But it's going to get very boring after a while. So, I think on next Friday, I'm going to head to our local craft store, AC Moore. There are Michaels around here, but they're a little bit farther away. And, AC Moore is 10 minutes from my house. So I'm going to go AC Moore, pick up a couple of things. I want to do something kind of Disney inspired, because if I get it done fast enough, I can actually bring it to the park one day, possibly. But I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm thinking of doing something Disney inspired to work on the train, and then to work when we're not at the parks and stuff. So that is one thing. That's definitely something that I'm going to talk about in episode 2. I also want to do something for my mom. I'm thinking of doing basically making a flute type bag, something. My mom plays the flute. She did in high school, and then I think she did a little bit in college, and she's starting to pick it up again. So I really want to do something like that, or I want to do something about Broadway. As she loves musicals like that. I'm not as a big fan of them as she is, but I just want to do something special for her. because she deserves it, basically. And finally, one thing I really, really want to do is I want to work through my queue on Ravelry, because I've been off and on Ravelry for the past, I want to say, about 5 years. I just haven't had a ton of time to really look at it over the last 2 or 3 years, because I've just been really crazy, and it keeps building up. So really, that's gonna be like more of a 2015 thing, is to work my way through it, and hopefully in the future give you a bit of an update on that. So that is what I have planned. And now I'm going to have what I'm eyeing. And these are things that I really want, or I have to wait a while to get them, or I'm going to get them like in the near future. And for this one, I have 2 things too as well. Just kind of keeping things a little bit short today, because this is the first episode. And the one of the things that I'm eyeing is Amish style Swift. And I need to actually quickly see if I can open a link. If not, I can just pop it. No, okay, so let's see. Copy. And onto here. Because I need to find, I should have had that opened earlier, but I didn't, unfortunately. A little bit underprepared, but oh well. But one thing is Amish style Swift, and this is different from an umbrella Swift, in that it's like an X, and then there's a washer, or well, like a wing nut or something, and then in each section of the X, there are holes where you can adjust pegs to the size of your hank of yarn. And the one that I'm eyeing is from the Etsy shop, CT Knickknacks, and I have the link in the show notes. I just feel like this is the one that works best for the room I have. And I have a ball winder, so I can wind it like right there on where I wind my wind my yarn, and it's gonna be so much easier that way. I've been kind of hesitant about getting yarn that's in hanks, because when I've gotten it in the past and I haven't had a Swift, it's been a mess. So I don't buy a ton of higher quality yarn because of it, but I really want to, in order to like space myself out, spread myself out. But yeah, that's one of the things I really want, and I'm probably going to get in the future. And the other one is yarn. And this actually, ironically, I think, is yarn that comes in a hank, and that's Cascade 220. Of course, well known, 100% wool. I believe there's also a superwash, but the one I'm kind of eyeing right now is the non-superwash, because I want to do some felted / fold projects hopefully this winter. And yeah, And finally, the last piece of news I have for today is I have a Ravelry group on Ravelry, of course. It is called Why I Knit Vidcast, and hopefully you join it. The link is in the show notes, and I'm probably going to post this onto a couple of other places that I'll talk about in the future. And yeah. So that's it for today. As I said, all the show notes can be found at whyknitvidcast.blogspot.com. And I will be back soon, hopefully next week, with episode 2, and it'll probably be a little bit more streamlined. So, talk to you soon. Bye.